Peace. And happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now, want to speak to being 100% authentic, and also about being fearless or courageous, I should say. Because sometimes fear could find itself, it could evade our attention sometimes, like where we think we being courageous on everything we're doing, but somewhere then found a little hiding spot, within the things we do, you know. And I'm gonna speak one of the little sneaky spots that finds itself for me, dealing with fear, and which just made, in essence, come together with, being genuine and authentic. But fear of hurting people's feelings, like that's one sneaky place that fear finds itself for me, because that's where the vibe of me being a people pleaser, comes into play. And again, my vibe with a fear of hurting people's feelings, a lot of it comes from, when you speak up on certain things or whatever, being a person that's sensitive to energy, you're gonna feel bad, like whatever the message you deliver, however it makes the person feel, you're gonna feel it as well. So if you're being, again, extremely authentic about a situation, but in a manner that's gonna possibly hurt somebody's quote unquote feelings, you gotta think about that too, which I always say that, somebody feelings hurt, that mean it was in their ego in the first place. So, you shouldn't even feel any kind of way. If somebody's in their God space, they're gonna always be able to, understand and overstand where you're coming from. But yeah, fear of hurting people's feelings, fear of sometimes saying things fully, and not so much for me. Well, yeah, sometimes it could be about fully explaining the truth, or finding ways to share it in a soft manner. And sometimes when I'm not able to find a soft way to say it, I don't say it at all. And it's a growth for me, because I just got a weird way of either I'm just 100% brutal and full, like I don't need to know how to tell the truth sometimes, where it's just awkwardly so strong. Well, I guess, and that for me, that's why I'll dodge it sometimes, is because it be so strong and awkward. Again, in a world that's so used to lying, when my kind of truth come out, it makes crickets start to chirp in the room. You know what I'm saying? And I don't be feeling that cricket. Like I don't be feeling that vibe. But that's also coming from root chakra work. You know what I'm saying? Like if my root chakra was strong on its foundation at all times, I would never have that problem. I'd be courageous in all the things I say. And that's to a certain extent, because part of me is being conscious of that, finding that middle spot, again, like where I want to be able to share the truth, but have a little way of, being not so brutal with it to a certain extent, But it is what it is. Like I'm a person that I feel like you should never, run from the truth, or just because you can't dress it up all good, it's like don't say it at all. I'm just speaking of like how I let myself down as far as in situations, but I don't support myself in those moments when I just didn't say anything. Like I should have said something regardless, as far as like being truthful fully. But yeah, it's definitely like a fear of hurting people's feelings. That's still a fear. Fear finds itself in all places, and this is one thing. Like I did a video about that a while back. Like fear and God can occupy the same body at the same time. If you finding yourself fearful of anything at any time, you are disconnected from your inner source. It don't matter what it is. You could try to, and this is how you know too. You'll try to find words to make it. Well, I don't think it's fear, cause yeah, even more so now, because what else the soul or God doesn't have to do. It doesn't have to back up things with words. It just shows it. It does it. So when you go to like, well, man, I don't think, or I feel like, like if you're trying to talk it out, that's exactly what you're doing. Like you're talking it out, and you're not necessarily being within that vibe, which I kind of lost track of where I was where I was headed with that. I know it's gonna pop back up. Speaking on being fearless. This light on the park keep coming on and off. Being fearless and how, like, or having excuses for, like where you're trying to talk your way out of, like, oh, well, it's because of it. Like, yeah, if you find yourself fearing anything, you are disconnected from source. Like, have awareness of, like, with all of these little things with the government or whatever. You have awareness of it, and then you back away from it. If you play with it long enough, or any longer than just being aware of it for what it is, then you're being fearful. You're fear mongering yourself, or your ego is preparing you, is getting the ball rolling to start you to, or no, getting you in the motions of fear mongering yourself. You know what I'm saying? But again, fear and source does not occupy the same body. If you're fearful to speak to somebody, if you're fearful of hurting somebody's feelings, if you're fearful of walking in a certain building, if you're fearful of the police still, like, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's disconnected, and reason why it's a disconnection, because you are everything, So if you're fearful of something, that means you're fearful of, yourself. And the reason why you're showing that fear, because that fear exists within yourself and it's playing out outside of you. You still feel like law enforcement may be something that's separate from you, as far as being God that is all. So you kind of fearful of that aspect of yourself, But you are everything, so there's no need to fear anything. Now, getting to the keeping it, to being genuine, being 100. I think one of the main little ones that kind of stick out to me a lot of times, and I'm pretty sure we all come across this person who, oh yeah, I don't like to use this word, but just using it in the example, oh yeah, I'm an empath too. I'm sensitive to energy too. And it's a person that says that, they're sensitive to energy and they're empath, but then they constantly overrunning your energetic boundaries, where they constantly doing things that cross your energetic line, so to speak, And as people who are truly sensitive to energy, we all know when each other is feeling uncomfortable about a certain thing, where we gonna say it if we feel just the slightest bit that a person may feel some kind of way about some type of thing. We're gonna speak up, like, like if somebody invites me to spend a night by their crib, let's just say, and I could feel this, like, not only I see that they're a very clean person, but I could just feel a vibe that this person really carries themselves very cleanly. So, you know, as I'm stepping up, so say for instance, I'm catching that vibe, my first time at their crib, catching that vibe. As I'm about to walk into the room, since I'm feeling the vibe already, I'm sensitive to energy, I just put it out there to ask, like, hey, do you want me to, should I take off my shoes? Or, I see you got the clean vibe going, and I don't want to cross any energetic boundaries or any boundaries. So, and which, of course, is up to that person to say so themselves. But, again, as being a person sensitive to energy, if I could feel something beforehand, I'm going to, be aware of it and speak on it. So, again, with some of the people, out there that's, oh yeah, I'm sensitive to energy too, or I'm an empath too. But then, you sending me messages on a level that you should have peeped that would make me uncomfortable. Like if you listen to my videos, watch my videos, or you could peep my energy, you could tell that overwhelming me with videos is crossing my energetic boundary, but I mean, overwhelming not with videos, with messages and certain questions. It's like, are you really, that aware of energy? Because I mean, we could feel energy through, messages and all that. Like, you don't have to be present around somebody to feel the energy, to a certain extent. But, I just thought about that, like, that story, or that person as an example, like, being sensitive. But just back to the other point too, is just being 100, quote unquote 100, keeping it infinite, keeping it eternal. But we're moving into times where you have to be 100% authentic. Like guys and girls, how we got our little sneaky tactics. Like, all right, as a woman. And I mean, now we're playing the game, well, to a certain extent, we all different with this, but like, when we're attracting, somebody who we are attracted to, how we play these little games where, uh, a woman, you might walk across a man's path just so he could see you, and authentically, you wasn't trying to go to get no punch across the room or go walk to holler at so and so. Like, that wasn't your true authentic thing that you were really trying to do. Like, what you really walked across the floor to do was to get that person's attention, but you made it seem like you were going to do something else. And those are the little examples of what I mean, like not keeping it all the way authentic. And again, in little situations like that, that may not be as how can I say, though with the to each his own on that situation, because say for instance, for me personally though, like I don't want to deal with no female, or that beats around the bush too much. Of course, as being a lady, you probably have that vibe of like, I just don't want to be straight up forward and come, at the brethren, rightfully so. But at the same time too, not playing like, oh, like I'm not attracted to somebody that's just gonna play the game so much. Like a perfect example, like a female wants my attention, but instead of like being more grown about it, say for instance, because of course, the masculine energy, fiery energy, that's why we more so approach females, and that's why we kind of had that vibe of like, the social dynamic of the man should be the one to speak first. But that's just, again, there's no there's rules, and that's the only way it could happen, you know what I'm saying? Of course, a female may take it upon herself to just say, hey, just want to express, you know, not really feeling the vibe. But long story short, what I was gonna say is, I don't like dealing with the vibe of, like, say for instance, a female might be feeling me. Instead of being more grown about it, she'll do something to where she'll start making loud jokes with her friends, like, ha ha, oh yeah, girl, this and that, ha ha, and doing all kind of stuff, and just all kind of shenanigans to get your attention. Is like, like, I don't, if you can't be authentic enough to, or I should say, not even say authentic enough, but a little more mature enough to show it in a more authentic way instead of like doing all the sideways stuff. That's what I mean by authentic, like, or keeping it 100. Like, what you feeling, and what you want to do. Then why, beat around the bush, or be unauthentic about it, in essence. Again, to each his own. We're all at different parts of our growth, and we all like different things. Like, for some people that might be a turn on to for somebody to, like, be so indirect about their approach to showing that they like you, or whatever, that some, I mean, like attract like, in essence. So, it is what it is, but again, that's just a little different examples, because I'm just trying to find a lot of different ones where, again, where the authenticity is subtle, as far as like, it's subtle how they got that 1% of unauthenticity, like where your aim was like, or like that person, and I might have spoke to this before. I feel like I spoke to this in a video before, like, the coworker that goes into the boss office, like, oh yeah, I'm like, they do, like, so say for instance, you got the boss sitting in the office, and you got that coworker that come in the boss office. Like, say for instance, say I might be late for work today, universal late for work, and one of the coworkers like, oh man, I wonder what Universe said. I hope he okay. Man, but they talking this out loud, because if you really wish I was okay, you would just be really wondering if I'm okay to yourself. But nah, you going in the boss office like, I wonder if Universal okay, and man, I just really hope he's, straight, and this and that. Is your authentic vibe about really wondering where I'm at and if I'm okay, or is your aim to make the boss aware that I'm not at work yet? you know, that's the sneaky little things that people, do. Ooh, I got another subtle one that happened the other night. Uh, this brethren, we talking, and I'm not trying to make this, but again, it's just true facts of just showing you how the sneaky ways of people being inauthentic. And matter of fact, this is a matter of being a little racial or racist or whatever. Not saying this person is racist for doing it, but if it has scales and it smell like a fish, I'ma just say that's, that this person seems like they were trying to pick at this situation in a manner that I wasn't trying to deal with it. But long story short, came across somebody, and they was like, oh, yeah, I had a buddy went to Grambling, this and that. And this, I'm talking to a lightly melanated brethren, aka European white, person, quote unquote. But he like, oh yeah, man, you from Louisiana? I had a partner went to Graham and played ball out there, And instead of making this story, all right, let me show you. Instead of making this story about relating, like, like, oh yeah, went to Grambling, blah, 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 and instead of keeping it in a place where we could relate. And again, there's no mistakes in the way we word stuff either. You know what I'm saying? Like when people say something fucked up to you, and like, oh, well, yeah, I was just clowning, or I mean, yeah, you clean it. You saying you was just clowning to clean up the bad feeling that you caught after realizing what you said was fucked up, But back to the story though, the brethren like, yeah, my partner went to Grambling, black guy that I was cool with, and he was a black guy but he had a white girlfriend, and when he got out there, man, all the black guys were just ragging on him about having a white girlfriend. Like, and his whole point was just to point out how, in other words, how the black people in Louisiana is racist. Basically playing that reverse psychology ass, race baiting ass shit that, I don't know, some people can't smell on me that I could peep the subtlest of the psychological fuckery, as far as like we're talking. Like, it's like, I want to cut the conversation short right there. I kind of just still played and listened, but like, I ain't gonna lie, I got a short, patience for that type of subtle fuckery. Like, I feel like it's so much insult to my intelligence. Like, for real, like, man, if you don't just tell me you got a problem with black people, like I'd rather you just say that. Like, I'm that person, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just tell me you got racial problems that you still dealing with, instead of trying to play these little wordplay ass games, you know what I'm saying? And excuse my rant, but it is what it is. But again, that's another way of somebody being inauthentic. So that person aiming that conversation wasn't really to bring up, instead of really trying to make a relation of like, oh, all right, uh, I'm white, you black, and I'm cool with black people, and like really drawing real connections on the situation. His aim was to bring up on blast, like, all right, yeah, you wear your little African clothes and this and that, but shit, black people in Louisiana kind of got racial issues, like, and my brother, that's on them, you know what I'm saying? What this has to do with our little interaction, in essence. But that, because again, just that aim, see me, and the reason why I'm bringing it up, because people, I know that goes into it too, see me how I'm dressed and how I carry myself, so felt the need to try to embarrass black people or make, give a bad name, like that was gonna, again, trying to press a certain button within me indirectly on some subconscious game bullshit, and I didn't bite on it, But again, what's your aim? What's your, hey, Universal, I'm just checking on you to see how you was doing. And this one I gotta keep it real with, for sure, you know what I'm saying? Because it's getting that way, as things starting to grow, with business, and, things are changing for me, and others can see that. And some people may be checking in, you know what I'm saying, on a level. And as I'm saying this, if the shoe fits, wear it, and don't let a hit dog holler. So so in hindsight, if you feel some kind of way as I say this, then it may points to, the deepness, what's the true authenticity of your aim at, speaking to me or whatever. But I think about like some messages where, and some people I know for sure may be truly checking on me, like, hey, what's up, bro, or what's been going on. And there's some people though that may be doing it just to say like, hey, I'm here, don't forget about me, as as you start to grow and get money and whatever. I don't want to use these words like blow up and be famous, because I'm not really, that'll come in directly with it. But I mean, again, it's not what I'm aiming for. Make it feel like, like that's what I'm chasing. But again, just speaking to that energy, it's a fact though. I gotta, again, and I have to share this, because this is something that you will go through. You will go through that vibe of like people, trying to pull at your coattail in essence, and that's why you just always make sure you're dealing with people on 100% genuine level, like when people let me borrow something or use something, man, like you show, because Like in so many words, if you're gonna attach some strings to this, I'm definitely not gonna borrow it or use it or whatever. You could keep it. You know, if you're gonna use this as one of them, oh, I let Universal use this a while back, so you know he owed me. Not, you know, like nah, we don't wanna deal with these vibes. You know, and of course, again, that's only if I'm feeling those unauthentic vibes, you know, truly. Like I make sure I'm feeling it, and it's not me having a predisposed position in my brain. Cause that's another thing that's important. You know, a lot of, again, everything is a reflection of ourselves. So too, you know, pay attention to your own psyche if you're attracting a certain type of person, to make sure that, you know, it's not nothing that you are attracting yourself, you know, in the essence of something going on in your own psyche, and not necessarily, you know, people being a certain type of way. But yes, just be authentic and genuine and all, you know, and you giving that person in front of the liquor store or whatever store, you know, when you give them $1 or whatever, make sure you're giving them $1 out of the kindness of your heart, not because oh man, I hope Source or Higher Self send me something back, you know, because again, and that mind frame too indirectly speaks to putting God outside your body anyway. If you feel like, all right, if I get this person $1, you know, Source, as in something outside of me, is gonna give me something. You know, it's like it's your higher self, and as far as that's concerned, it's just giving with the kindness of your you know, your heart, and in essence, just on a universal law, cause and effect. Uh, you know, what the energy you're putting out comes back to you. You know, but that's basically it. You know. And again, just watching out for them sneaky places where fear try to, you know, hide at. You know, you could be fearful of all kind of things. Make sure you're not even as a you know, like gotta keep it real with this, like being spiritual and being fearful of like say for instance, fearful of computers, or fearful of the business world, you know, it's cool to not want to be a part of it in essence, but just make sure you're not fearful of it, you know what I'm saying? Like fearful of like oh man, these robots or this and that. It's like, well, you know, at that point, what's funny, like how some of the earlier, you know, Europeans may have felt like when they first came across a melanated person, it's like, all right, you know, damn, I'm fearful. I gotta, this thing potentially could do all this thing. this being could potentially do all kind of things that could could harm me on a high level. Just looking at its power, it hasn't done anything to harm me, you know, at all yet. I didn't say, not even say yet, because the yet is only existing as a fear. Like, yeah, so it hasn't done anything to me, but you know, I just fear that, you know, if it does feel some kind of way, then you know, then it's gonna attack, you know, then that black person is gonna attack me on this type of level. So you know, that fear turned into what you got today, you know what I'm saying, oppressing melanated people. And reason why I'm bringing that up, because I bring that up from a melanated person position towards you know, robots or stuff like that, you know. And I'm not sitting here saying anything good or bad or yay or nay. I'm just saying, like, do on to other things as you want done to yourself. But like with the fear of, like, you know, computers and stuff like that, that's the same thing. It's like, oh well, I fear what it could do if it does develop a mean mind, or I fear, you know, but you never gave it a chance to, you know, to be in the first place. You know, you fearing the situation before it even you know, come. False evidence appearing real. You know, so definitely just be fearless on all levels. It's all you, and it's, of course, it's easier said, still easy to do, but just easier said. You know, but it's definitely something that can be done and that should be done. Like being, you know, again, fearless on all levels, because I'm constantly working on it on all levels. It got certain, and it be certain days for me. That's why I be constantly working with root chakra stones, because it be sometimes for me, like with smoking the herb would kind of put me in like a more, not say fearful, but it'll lower my again, because herb do lower testosterone, so to a certain extent it lower the willpower to a certain extent, to have me you know, fearful in speaking up in that sense. You know what I'm saying? Not say fearful, but to a certain extent, you know, I'm just a little more quiet in my approach, because it's more of a vibe of like feeling shame to a certain extent. Like, that's why I say it's more of like a little fear in that sense, you know. But it's certain aspects I'm always working on and cleaning up myself, so it's a constant growth, definitely. And to bring that together with, you know, being genuine, being 100%, you know, with myself. I gotta be a 100, quote unquote, with myself, and know that I do have these certain fears in certain places that I'm cleaning. You know, that I have to first admit to, and then, you know, the first step is, you know, acknowledging, and then you work on it. You know, but you know that's the whole thing. And again, for myself, fear of hurting people's feelings. You know, because that's what created the people pleasing vibe for myself. You know, and you shouldn't fear hurting. Like, express yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Like with any of my videos, I don't regret any of them, even if it may have felt like I don't know, like I've said something that I may have felt was wrong or whatever. You know, if anything, it was my ego fearing put something, because again, like, you don't fear anything. So if you fearing expressing yourself in any way, form, or fashion, that's not the God within you. You know, you, been taught all these little dogmatic spiritual practices, but you know, it's about being fearless on all levels. You know, just going in, fearless on all levels. But that's basically it. Be fearless. Be 100% authentic. You know, and definitely you know, check yourself on the authenticity. Check yourself on the fear level. See, you know, what are you being scared of? Ask yourself. And you got to be true about yourself. Like, I mean, true with yourself about this. Like, am I being fearful of this situation? Like, you know, a lot of people run away from simply questioning themselves, because they know the answer to, you know, that's why a lot of us have trouble just sitting down and just asking ourselves that question of, like, you know, or like, say for instance, when you talking, like, with being authentic, like, what really is my aim at speaking to this person? You know, am I speaking to this person because I really want them to have a nice day, or am I speaking to them because I know they might possibly work for so and so, and they could get me a job at so and so, so that's why I'm speaking to them. You know, like, and that's the thing. If you feel like, share the authentic vibe, like, you know, like, instead of like, oh, hey, I didn't see you here. Hey, how you doing? Like, no, be authentic. Like, oh, man, hey, I saw you here. And I ain't gonna lie, man, I really trying to get in touch with so and so to get this job, man. And I saw you, and like keep it real, like be authentic. You know what I'm saying? Like the source within is always with you, and it's always, I don't like to use the word watching because then you're gonna think it's something outside of you. But the source within is with you at all times. So you can't really run away from yourself in that manner, as far as like being unauthentic. No, be 100% authentic. Did you really have when you send a question to me, like, did you really want me to answer that question, or did you just really want to be in a conversation back and forth with me so you could say that you talk to universal frequencies on Instagram or something like that, like that? Be authentic, you know what I'm saying? Because I know definitely I'm getting back to, not babyfying people in that area. Sometimes I answer people back and back. Nah, I don't even, answer questions on this level. Sometimes I just leave it blank. Cause that's another thing too. Like, I I do not like to waste my energy in any form or fashion. So, like, I don't even like to deal with, like certain little things as far as messages or whatever that may be sent. It's like, next, I can't even, not even gonna put my brain into what it's about, because it seems like something that you could go Google, or something that you might have to figure out for yourself, But we all on our growth, so it's no good or bad, right or wrong, we all figuring it out. Definitely. I'm just thinking, before I go, just thinking of more little examples of, of how you gotta, question yourself and just make sure you're being authentic. Make sure you're being courageous, and fearless. I rather use courageous other than fearless, because again, even though the subconscious vibes more to symbols, even with the words, it hears the root words in essence, and not so much the little prefixes and suffixes. So, like, the word fearless, the subconscious, may mostly hear the word fear in general. So I just try to use the word courageous. Be 100%. Be past 100% authentic in your intentions. What is your intent? What do you truly, authentically intend with your actions and your words? Like, what you truly, truly intend to do, when you speaking to so and so, or when you taking that picture, and you like, look at my new watch, but it's obvious you're trying to show us how big your booty is. Be authentic. And of course, it's it's all a growth. We all, but just make sure that we are, continuously growing. Gotta continuously, be on ourselves about or with these questions. Questioning the authenticity of our actions. Questioning, is this act out of fear? Am I doing this because I'm fearful of the situation? If so, I need to clear this. You know what I'm saying? Walk with source. But that's basically it, y'all. Peace.